What is good, my people, my peeps? Well, here's another one, a late night live. I don't intend to speak long. I say that and then, well, then it, I carry on. I speak too long, but hopefully you can catch this on the replay if you're not on this live. And I won't, you know, keep you too long. Here's another one, a late night live. Jealousy. Hmm. Gifts, sights, and teachings. I didn't think that I was going to even speak about this. I got a comment last weekend regarding teaching. Teaching, I guess, when I speak about the Bible, people perceive that as me teaching, preaching in some sort of way. But it is truly not me teaching and preaching. But as you've seen, the title says jealousy, sight, slash gifts, and then teaching. I'm going to do a video regarding females in the Bible that had gifts that the Most High used. This is hard for me to even speak about because so many of the men in our nation, in my nation that I've awoken to, have been so hurt that, well, let me just get to the point. Jealousy. As most of you guys know, I was married for 18 plus years and, well, married 18 years, together 20 plus. And that's a long time to be in a relationship, especially for the youngsters of today. Most of you all know about microwave relationships, in one weekend and out the next. In a relationship and out the next, I mean. 18 years is a long time to realize that your spouse is jealous of you. And may have always carried some form of jealousy regarding you, his wife. You see, some people may not understand that you may be in a relationship with someone who you believe loves you, cares for you, and you couldn't fathom the thought of them being actually jealous of you. That's right, you're sleeping with the enemy. I didn't come across that revelation regarding my relationship until, well, the end of the relationship. You see, I have always been the type of person to promote people, anything that you do. And that's what I did in my relationship. But then when I realized that when I started to work on my self development, And that evil, green-eyed devil of envy and jealousy started to raise its evil head. You see, I've always had a strong spirit ever since I was a child. So when this green-eyed evil demon raised his head within my husband, I only realized it when I was in Germany. You see, I work with children, and I had a new director started at our facility. He was a male, white, and homosexual. We had a meeting, and I have to tell you this part of the story for you to even understand where this green-eyed, envious, jealous demon began to raise his head in my relationship. You see, I attended this meeting because I was a temporary lead in a classroom of children. So we had lead meetings, like supervisors meetings with the director. When this director started, I have I think I have tamed it, but I may not have. But I have just a spicy kind of personality. Okay. So the director in this meeting was giving his resume, stating, I have 2 masters, and, going on and on about his education. At that time, I had only had my high school diploma, and I was going to get a CDA to work with children, but we had moved to Germany before I could even start the certificate that I wanted to get of a CDA. So when the director, you know, he may not have even been being funny or, sarcastic. He was just spouting off, and I was young at the time. And so within the meeting, I said, yes, I have my 2 masters as well, and I'm working on my doctorate. I didn't have anything but a high school diploma. So he looks at me. He says, oh, very well. Our meeting ended. Like I said, I was young, spouting off at the mouth. But where I worked, you had to have certain credentials to hold certain positions. You could hold them temporarily, but you had to have a credential if you were to be promoted and hold them permanently. That very same director I had spouted off with began to come into my classroom. And he was so hard and on me. Just me. Have you ever known anybody who you felt was just always just so mean, it seemed like at the time, towards you, but no one else in the room? I was holding a temporary position as a lead of a preschool room. One day he came into the room. He says, I'm moving you to the toddler room as a temporary lead. And you can only hold that for so many months unless you get your CDA. And I need you to come to my office after you finish your shift tonight. I was so furious. I was livid. How he spoke to me. How dare he think that I even wanted a lead position. So I entered his office and sat down. We were constantly bumping heads from after the first initial meeting, group meeting of leads. He said, "You have 3 months to get your CDA. I'm going to assign you a trainer, and she's going to work with you. And if you don't get your CDA in 3 months, you can no longer hold the position that you're holding." Now, mind you, that position paid more as well, as long as you held it. But you, to keep it, had to have your credentials. I looked at him with fire in my eyes because, you see, to receive a CDA, it takes a year. He gave me 3 months. Jealousy is the beginning of the title of this conversation that I'm having with you all tonight. And my meager little thoughts that I had when I was so young. He must be jealous of me in some way, I thought. Why is he trying to push me out? 3 months that to get a certificate that takes a year? Although he's assigning me my own personal trainer, that had never been done before, you see. I couldn't see the forest from the trees because I was still too young. To understand and discern people for who people really are. The next day, and I do mean the next day when I clocked in, a trainer walked into my room. "I'm here to train you for your CDA. At this time, you will go to the infant room. At this time, you will do this. At this time, you will do that. Agenda. At this time, you will do this," as if I had signed up for the military. I tell you, the way I stared at them, if they could only read what was going on in my mind, they probably would have called the police, MPs, arrested me. I was hot. I was livid. I followed through with what they were telling me. No one to talk to but to go home and tell my husband at the time what was going on. No words of comfort, no words of wisdom. Just do it, basically. Just like it, shut up. Well, I continued to go in. 3 months passed before the 3 months had even completed. I was ready to go and test for my CDA, my credentials. I tested and I passed. And I will say his name, Stephen. I won't say his last name. A white male, homosexual male director called me back into the office. "Congratulations." I was like, "Oh, thank you. I'm going to make you the lead of this toddler room. But I'm making you the lead of this toddler room. I have some extra money here within our facility, and you need to register for these 2 college classes. I barely finished getting my CDA. I looked at him with fury, fire. In my mind, I thought, he really is not trying to help me. He's trying to trip me up. But see, I'm stubborn as well. So, like I said, I was young. The discernment hadn't truly developed. So, oh, it's a game. You want to play? Well, let's play. In my mind, a young, immature mind. He sent me to the college that we had on our military installation. Told me to go get the books that they have that you can, you pick your college classes from the registrar's book. I'm thinking I'm going to take a class. I bring the books back. Associate's degree. Okay, that's what you need to start going for, your associate's degree. And I'm looking at this man like, this is war. I'm taking one class. That's what you told me when I came to your office. This is what I'm saying in my mind, not out to him verbally. This man, he wants to take me down. A associate's degree? I hadn't even thought about college. I was going to be happy with my credential, my certificate. I was grown with a child and a husband, and I hadn't gone to college at all. Nothing. I was happy when I graduated high school, not to enter another classroom. Called me into his office again. The money has come in. Everything is paid for. You start school, college this day. I will never forget it. We were in Baumholder, Germany. It snowed like nobody's business. It snowed so much I never drove in it. It was like powder. My first day of school, it was almost like a blizzard. And I say school because that's what I was used to, school, not college. I had to bundle up like an Eskimo and walk. I walked from where we lived to where the campus was because I didn't want to drive in the snow. When I got into the college classroom, hello, Tony, how are you doing? Hello. Yeah. When I got into the college classroom and put everything away, well, everyone in there was younger than me. So I sat down and the professor says, please pass up your assignment. I looked to my left and they're pulling out their paperwork. I looked to my right. They're pulling out their paperwork. And I'm sitting there dumbfounded. What assignment? I'm thinking about. What assignment? You see, I was not prepared for college life. I was a mother. a wife, a young military mother, a young military wife. I didn't even know about an agenda, anything that they would even have prior to coming to college, to the class before it even started. Obviously, the professor knew. Did she call me out? No. At the end of class, I waited behind after everyone left. And I asked questions because that's one thing I will do is ask questions. You see, people in your life will come into your life at certain times because God puts them there. The teacher, the professor begins to explain, yes, in college, most professors will assign assignments prior to you even entering the classroom. You check online. She briefed me on everything about college life. I had no clue. And I was off and running. You see, my director, Stephen, paid for through our job most of my college. Because every time a college class ended, he called me into the office. He says, there's another college class and we have funding for you. When this man first walked into the building, I couldn't stand him. I thought he was arrogant. Thought he was the show off. You see, Stephen saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself at the time. But was he intimidated? No. Of me? No. Was he jealous of me? No. The only thing Stephen wanted to do was elevate me. And I realized that the day they promoted Stephen to a position on the military base over all of the child care facilities. I happened to be in the car with my ex-husband. We were at McDonald's, a German off-base McDonald's. Stephen was there and he came waltzing up. He had just found out they had promoted him. He came to the car and he had never met my husband, my ex, before. He was like, Nicole, they promoted me to work with the high school students and after school students, and I want you to take another class. And I want you to move over to the facility where I'm at. And I was like, oh, I was excited for him. And I was excited to move over to work with the older students, but not my ex. He was like, why would you move over there? It was nothing but negativity that came from him. You see, Well, I promoted my ex with helping him study for boards and his promotion. There was a jealousy there, and it definitely reared its ugly head when Stephen said, I want to make you a GS5. You see, um, that's the equivalent to a sergeant in the military, but it's a a civilian when you work for the government. I want to make you a GS5, but I can only make you this GS5 if you take another class. I didn't. I didn't go to the facility with Stephen. I didn't get that promotion because of jealousy. You see, sometimes people outside of your own family will want to help elevate you because they see something in you that you don't see in yourself. And there's people who proclaim that they love you that will stagnate your growth because they see something in you that they don't want to shine more than they can already bear. But see, the thing is, Stephen lit a fire. He lit a fire under my pilot. I never stopped going to school. I never stopped going to college. And I would not have stopped because I wanted to get my master's until this program, you see. Jealousy. Fast forward to sight. Like I've said in previous broadcasts, I don't even like to even talk about dreams because so many people on these YouTube streets mention dreams and prophecies and things of that nature. Well, you see, I carried on. I stayed in my position as a lead, but I could have been so far advanced had I kept the course. But I started to see that green-eyed monster develop in my ex-husband. So I just stayed the course. But it was time for him to be promoted to sergeant, which meant he had to come back to the United States to finish classes. They have to go through certain trainings. Sight. He was excited. I helped him study for the board, helped him pack. But the night before his flight, back to the United States, and I was going to stay in Germany. I had a dream. Never had this dream before. It was another woman. I woke up that next morning, helped him pack the rest of his smaller items. The other soldiers that had to fly out to the United States came to pick him up, to take him to the airport. I never told him my dream because I figured it was a dream. But it was a sick, sinking feeling. But the odd thing is, when I opened the door for him to go out, he was crying so very hard. I was sick, but he was crying. I started crying only when I seen him crying, but I was sick. Because as I closed that door and he turned his back to walk down the stairs, I knew that was the beginning of the end of our relationship. I tried to carry on. The dream came back. Sight. I'm at work. Flashes. Visions. You see, this was not early, late 90s, early 2000s, before technology truly took off. We still had to use cards to call the United States. And she only had so many minutes on, and so if you missed a call, you just burnt up cards. Had to go purchase more cards. And so calls were missed. I'm not a football sports person at all. The next time I spoke with my husband, I was like, well, I tried to call. Oh, I was at a football game, yada, yada, yada. Oh, okay. On the playground with the children. Flash. Voice. Pick up the paper when you get off of work. No game existed. Nightmares. Sight. You see, before my ex-husband had his class and before he flew, we made arrangements for the family to take a vacation to come back to the States since he was going to be already in the States. The flights would be cheaper since it would be me and my son coming over, and then he would be finished with class. You see, everything I saw, everything that happened was true. Sight, gifts. That was not the end of having sight and gifts. Helping so called friends going through issues, inviting them into your home. Female friend. You see, at the time, my son had came back from staying in another state. In his early 20s at the time. My son is handsome, yes. He gets it from his mama. He hates when I say that. Uh, but one day, my friend that was staying with me, that's a whole different subject. But some people, when you try to help them, they don't want to even help themselves. She was staying with me. My son was home and he was getting ready to leave, and I was getting ready to leave and go out that day. And she was there. And she was a beautiful woman as well. I left the house. He left the house. And we practically drove off at the same time. Vision. I stopped my car. Well, it was a truck at the time, SUV. Go back. But I had to go somewhere, but I had a vision. And I heard, go back to the house. I turned around and drove back to the house. And I opened the door and I started to walk up the stairs. I knew this woman for 20 years. Standing at the steps in her t-shirt and panties. Not just regular panties, like thongs. And not just a baggy t-shirt, a fitted t-shirt. As she see me wind the stairs, the utter shock on her face, I could have beat her down. You see, you may ask why. Well, you shouldn't, you see. She was on a mission to seduce my son. You see, I am not the type of woman that think that all women are so wholesome and pure, and they are not, or don't have an evil thought or plan in their mind. Because she knew that her time was up in my home, and she would have to find somewhere else to stay because I had tried to help her. I told her to put on her clothes and she had to go. And I got in my vehicle and left because I know Satan was working overtime. He wanted me to act a plumb fool on this woman. I called my son. I said, whatever you do, do not return home tonight. Do not return home tonight. He was like, why? I said, do not stay over one of your friends' houses. The next morning, the police were called because she didn't want to leave. My ex-husband was called. My mother was there. My son came because I was going to beat the life out of this woman. And all of them had to come to prevent me from doing so. Sight. You see, the Most High has always given me sight. To the point to where I've had dreams and woken up and told my son not to go places, not to do things. To the point where he's woken up with a dream and come down and told me, and I told him what it meant, and he didn't go. It's not the fact that you even know that it's sight when you're in the world, because I wasn't going to church. I just knew I had dreams and visions. And other gifts that help me navigate, I would say, throughout life. Knowing when to leave, when to go. When the atmosphere in a room has changed. When people in stores are watching you, following you out of the stores. And this was before I even knew I was being gang stalked. One thing that has always been a constant in my life, though, that I think the Most High has placed in my life, is always being in church or around church people. Even being put on a bus to go to church. Even when I was young in Germany with my parents, even without my brother, I wanted to go to church way into a different community, Frankfurt, when we lived in another community, on a bus with church people I didn't know. I was a child. I couldn't tell you why. And my mom would put me on the bus, and she didn't go to church. She didn't even attend these churches that I went to. But I wanted to go. Even as a child, 12, in church, they put me in charge of the Sunday school classes for the youth. I think our paths are carved out for us. But jealousy in people hinder us in many ways from truly walking the path that is carved out for us. Jealousy hindered me from completing that path that the director, Stevens, started with enhancing my education, because I wouldn't have went to college without Stevens. Even boosting, even not even boosting, demanding. And I knew it was different because no one else in that facility went to college. No one else in that facility got their CDA the route that I got my CDA. Everything was always fast tracked for me. And not an easy fast track. Not something that was just handed to me. It was, I guess, say handed, but with very hard circumstances that most people would not have even wanted to complete. The jealousy got me off my track, my destiny. You see, it was good for my husband when I was helping him elevate, motivating him. Some people in life would call that a muse. Most people in music would call that a muse. Who was that singer's name? He got shot. He was with the Beatles. He was married to Oka. I can't remember her name either. That wasn't my generation, but she was an Oriental lady. And he called her his muse. That's a Greek terminology. Some people appreciate people who inspire them. I didn't appreciate Stephen until later, until I realized what he actually was doing. I thought he was testing me, my nerves, trying to battle me in some type of way. After I finished my degree, my ex wound up getting the exact same degree as I did. Not having any passion, any desire, just because I did. Ugh. You see, instead of people appreciating inspiration and so called muses in their lives, they become jealous. So I had a post. It was June 5th, and it said, stop teaching, and I'm paraphrasing because I'm not reading it exactly. Humble yourself. Stop teaching. Humble yourself. Because when I get on this platform, I'll talk to you guys just like I'm talking to you now. And if Bible verses come up, they come up. And I realize I will not be knocked off my path this time from anyone with any intentions of holding jealousy in their hearts or whatever their intentions might be. Because, see, when I read that post, I understood that these people are not understanding the difference between teaching and preaching and spreading the word of the Most High. And that's what I'm doing, spreading the word of the Most High. You see, there's been so much hate between men and women in a pull, in a push, in a fight. And it's seeped into the spreading and the edification of the Most High God, that men that have come to the awakening feel, and I don't know if it was actually a man or a woman, to tell you the truth, but either way, have come to the thought process that women aren't supposed to spread the word of the Most High God. And that simply is not true. And so that's why I came on tonight. Because just like I got dreams, and I had dreams with my ex, the Most High gave me dreams of this realm, this planet, a new world and an old world. A new world being formed in an old world, crumbling like dry clay. Hands coming out of oceans. And I will not sit back here and not say what I've seen, visions that I've saw. I know the order, and that is to be had within the Bible. I know the order. I'm not putting precepts upon precepts. I'm not mixing and delving into the Bible. I only talk about the dreams, the visions that I see. And if anyone has a problem with that, well, take it up with the Most High God. Hello, hello. You remember those cards? What card? That's wonderful. You went to university. Thank you. Yeah. Um, it's just it. When I think about it, I wish sometimes when do you guys remember when Oprah used to bring on her show people who made a difference in other people's lives? Sometimes for that segment, I wish her show was still on. So that I could thank him. Hmm. Because I didn't even have a thought about going to college. Not one thought. But everything that he did changed my whole life. Oh, thank you. Stay strong, Nikki. You are a beautiful lady and very smart, too. Thank you. Yes, I brought help. Um, cards to call. Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, my gosh. Yes, that it seems so far away, but I mean, that was like in late 1990s, 2000. We had to use those phone cards in Germany just to call, and they would just burn up quick. So you better be at home when I say I'm gonna call. Yes, indeed. I did four. I did my bachelor's degree. I did two associates, and then I finished up my bachelor's. So I have the two degrees, one in early childhood development and one in communications with the concentration in PR. Um, but I would not, and I say this, I would not have went down that path had it not been for Ted. Oh, I said his first name, but Ted Stevenson. Yeah, I mean, we were the odd couple. Maybe we weren't a couple because he was a gay white male, but we bumped heads so much. But he kept putting me in charge, and go to school, go to school. And I mean, it wasn't like he was nice when he said it either. Like, I need to see you in my office. Like, what the what? And I would just, I don't know if you guys ever met people like that. And I never got a chance to ask him why. Why did he push me so hard? Why did he want me to go to college? Why did he want me to follow him to when he got promoted, he wanted to promote me to a GS5. And he was like, you can't grow here. And I have to leave this area, because he was about growth. So, those might be one of the people in your lives you'll never get to ask why. But the Most High brings people across your path. And sometimes you think, oh, these people don't like me. Depending on what they're doing, they might not like you. You gotta, that's one of his fruits showed that was not the case. It wasn't the fact that he didn't like me. Actually, it was the opposite. He liked me so much, he wanted to give me more tools to navigate in life, to help me to the point to where I was not like most of these people now that are hoping that the government pays for their college that they had to pay for, because most people had to get grants and all of that. I didn't have to do any of that. My He was my boss. He made a way to pay for a lot of my college degree legally through our work. A lot of jobs have programs, and supervisors, directors, they know of these things, but sometimes they don't even implement those for people because they have no motivation, no drive, no substance about them. You'll never forget that, right? Yeah. You know, yeah, those cards were something else. But I'll never forget. That's why when oh goodness, life, I tell you. If I was to talk about the whole struggle of going to college, it reminds me of, I don't know if it was it Bill Cosby or somebody, one of those comedians who said we had to walk 100 miles to school with with one shoe with a hole in it and one shoe with That's how I felt in Germany, walking and all that snow. And I am a tropical person, trust me. I will do the heat before I do any cold. But I can do the cold because I've traveled around. It's just about your body, um, you know, getting, I can't even think of the word, adjusted, I'll just say that, to the climate. But when I think about it, my goodness, having to get off work, come home, cook, make sure the little one was taken care of, and then bundle back up and walk all the way through that snow. Oh my goodness. The sacrifices that we make in our lives, and for people who don't even know your full story, to belittle it so, and probably wouldn't even get put two snow boots on to go outside in the snow. Let me see. Hold on for a minute. These glasses on. Wow, that's wonderful. Because he knew I could do it. Yeah, he knew I could do it before I knew I could do it. That's so true. And to this day, I wonder if he is alive. And people like that. I don't know. This maybe not you guys, but people like that. There's a few people in my life. I wonder, because the last conversation I had with him is when he asked me to to move to the new facility, and he wanted to promote me to a GS5 and continue to pay for me to go to college through the military, through the government. That other jealousy side kicked in, and that's why I say you can be sleeping with the enemy. The enemy can be your own husband, boyfriend, girlfriend. You can definitely be sleeping with somebody who is jealous of you because they can see something in you, and they hope and pray that you never see it. See it in yourself, rather. And a cheap medical top and different jobs. What does that mean? And a cheap medical. And oh, cheap medical too in different jobs. Oh, yeah. Most people don't know. Let me tell you, most people. Were you in Germany? How long were you in Germany? How long were you? Yeah, most people don't know. Germany just came around because I was in Germany twice when I was a young girl and when I was married. And when I was a young girl, oh my gosh, we talking about those cards when the cell phones came out. But imagine when I was a child, it took like 3 and 4 months just to get updated information. And about by the time it came, it was old. I mean, extremely old news. When we finally came back from Germany as a child, we were so far behind. It felt like coming from another world. They had HBO, Cinemax, and Showtime were out in the boxes to the TV. And in Germany, we still had like the black and white TVs. It felt like we stepped into a time zone or something. I don't know. It was wild. Um, Let me see. And then you had to call back. Yes. Oh my. Yes. Um, it tickles me. I think I was talking about technology in one of my videos. And if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about right now, we're talking about being overseas around 2019, 99, and 2020, around the early ages when cell phones came out. You had to use cell phone cards that had time, like minutes on it. Um, so, but anyway, when my ex, when they went to Bosnia, I think he had to fight in Bosnia, the Bosnia War. Yeah, because when we first got there, um, he when we touched down. On for a minute. I don't know if you guys can hear that fan, so let me turn it off. But the military is a truly different life, and that's why a lot of people get divorces uh, if they've never been in the military or been around the military, because separation is part of um, just life in the military. Is being separated from your spouse. I'm used to that just because I wasn't married, but being a military brat. Um, so when we got to Germany, my ex he was kind of controlling, and I didn't realize a lot of things at the time. But when you fly to Germany, you can either go with your spouse, or the soldier can go ahead of the spouse, and to set up everything. And I had a home based business here. I had a home daycare, and I didn't actually want to go to Germany, but he when I think about it, he knew if he didn't take me with him when he went, I wasn't gonna come when he got over there, because I was doing great with my home based business. So he set up he set up our flight to where I traveled with him. It's a certain term. I can't think of the terminology right now, what it's called when your spouse and family flies with you. So we had researched the area that we were going to, and when we flew into Frankfurt and landed, there were soldiers waiting for us, and they were like, "Sergeant such and such." And he was like, "Yes." He said, they were like, "Your orders have been changed, and you are now stationed in Baumholder, Germany." And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and they were like, "And once we get you to the base, Sergeant, you are to be shipped out to Kosovo." Was it? Yeah, it was Kosovo. Kosovo. There was a war going on, and it was Kosovo, and you are to be shipped out to Kosovo. And so he looked at me and I looked at him, and then I had we had my son there, and we had to keep it together. So they put us on this bus, and then we're driving up this mountain that looked like the Count Dracula mountain, because it was winter time and it was so gloomy and dreary, and all I could remember was tears rolling from my eyes. 'Cause, like, what in the world is this place? It was snow everywhere. It was so gloomy. And so they put us in the hotel and took him, and then he came back and he was like, "Well, we're gonna get housed." And then as soon as they put us in house and they took him on to Kosovo, it's a different life. It's a different world. The military world. The women are not, and some men marry female soldiers. So if they're not used to um, changes at the drop of a dime, they won't make it. They will not make it. Let me see. Oh, you were in the U.S.? Oh, okay. Okay, so you had someone from Germany calling you, is what I'm taking it to be. My Spanish friends told me we were to buy cheap phone cards. Okay. David talks about gangsta. Really? Where? Which one? But you know what? I think the Bible let us know that, about gang stalking, like you're saying, with Jesus, being followed and pursued and all of that. And about 20 numbers. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Germany is no joke with those numbers. Even in their license plates, have those long numbers across that plain white license plate. You are not telling no tale with that. It is still a lot of numbers to call when you call overseas. Yes, indeed. What did you get? Army housing. Yes, we lived in on the base. Now we lived on the base when I was married in the military. When I was a child, my father had been to Europe several times, so he had German. Um, they were his godparents. They, adopted him. So when we first flew to Germany when I was young, we stayed on it's called the economy, which is off off boat boast off base, and so that was a beautiful experience because we stayed where there were horses and farmland, and so we got to go and groom the horses and learn how to put horseshoes on. That at that time felt like a dream. Um, so when I played house, I picked real raspberries and blackberries, and we ate real fruit. And then later we moved on to base. It's so hard living in different countries. It it is at first, I believe, but I truly my thoughts regarding living in countries, I love it, I guess, because I had a great experience as a child, moving as an army brat, moving to different places and to well, Germany was the only different country that we went to, but we moved often in the United States. Nevertheless, I think that moving to different countries is a blessing, especially if you have children, because they get to experience different cultures, and it broadens their horizons instead of giving them a closed mindset, I think. That's just my opinion. No, I called my family back home in Australia. Now, I would love to have gone to Australia, the land down under. Yes, indeed. Yeah. No, traveling is a blessing, and I say, if you can travel, travel. I don't know what the travel restrictions are right now. If they've been lifted more than usual, after that great big cold that the world had. Um, but if you can travel, travel. I say if you can speak more than one language and you have children, please teach your children how to speak. Especially if your native tongue is Spanish or German or you know something other than American. Teach your children how to speak your native tongue. I came across so many people that didn't teach their children how to speak their native tongue, but would speak, you know, their native tongue with adults. And I was like, what kind of madness is that? Um, but then I met other parents that spoke to their children in both languages, especially in Germany. We had a young girl. She was every bit of 5, 5 years old, and could speak both languages. She could speak English and German, and would translate for us. And so I just think that's just a blessing. That's just me. But beautiful country, Nikki, but not good for TIs. Not good for TIs. Yeah, I think everywhere it's pretty bad for TIs. Um, and that's sad because we want to enjoy this beautiful world that the Most High put together. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I want to see them kangaroos though. I've seen them on some videos. I didn't realize the kangaroos had so much muscle. They look kind of scary, but I would, love to travel some more. I, to travel and travel, but not have to pack and travel because that's a whole different scenario. When you have to pack your whole household up and travel, but to travel with just packing a couple of bags and a passport and staying for a little bit, that's me. But that's just me. Some people don't. That that's not their ball game. They could not stand to do that. But I say move or go somewhere every now and again, even if you're not going to leave your country. STIs as chosen ones, go to the next city and have lunch, have breakfast, do something for yourself. I know we have these crazy stalkers and perverts and pervs and all of that, but to me, I don't know. I just feel that you have to do something for yourself, even if it's just going to the store. Like my getaway sometimes is just going to the stores, even if it's my favorite store is the Dollar Tree. Y'all know something. You got to do something for yourselves. You can't. Don't stay in the house too much. Get out because that's what they want you to go. Be cooped up. Go stir crazy in your own home. Um, and just not connect with people because I'm sure there still it's a person, some people within your towns or the next town over. Just do something for yourself, you know. Hold on. What'd you say? I wish we had. Oh, wait a minute. I think I skipped the one. Um, Big red are the ones that will attack. Oh, will attack you. Kangaroos. Oh, they're called big reds. Because I've seen. I think it was a. It was on YouTube or something. It was a kangaroo that looked like he had been to the gym. I mean, his upper body looked like it had nothing but muscles. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. You're not them cute little cartoon kangaroos for sure. Hmm. I wish we had a Dollar Tree shop here. Um, I love that shop. Yeah, and Dollar Tree is getting beside itself. I have some new products I'm going to show you guys. And y'all remember to check out the other channel because I'm trying to switch and separate the channels when I show you affordable stuff. But there was a lady, and I recorded her, and I was going to do a short regarding what she was saying. And she was saying that with everything happening in today's society, a lot of people are trying to uh, position themselves to be in the best position possible for the collapse. Um, Maybe a EP, what is it called? A EP, what is that? When the lights go out, if they, the E, I can't even think. It's late. What is it called? Y'all know whatever it's called when they send some kind of missile and it'll take out all the electricity and all of that. Um, or getting them a new car or something like that. What she was saying basically is to take care of your body first, your vessel first. And she gave the analogy. Well, it basically wasn't an analogy, it was an observation of what has recently took place. Uh, um, what happened in New York City when, it shut down and everything happened. And New York runs on public transportation. And when you rely on public transportation, and if that is shut down, the next transportation that you're going to have to rely on is your body, your vessel, the temple that the Most High gave to you. So she was stating that take care of your vessel, take care of your feet. As much as possible. If you're not already a wheelchair or using some kind of aid to help you walk, to take care of your vessel as much as you can before you start investing in getting a new car or a new house. Get the things that would aid you to be as healthy as you can. And I agree with that. And, you know, I see so many people say things like, don't leave stuff in your house. And I understand that. But you know what? I buy the minimum. Not like when I used to shop and grocery shop. I used to be one of those people that the refrigerator would be stacked, stuffed full of food, and the freezer, everything, the pantry. But I keep just a little bit of things. But I know that us as chosen ones and as TIs that you know, whenever they get a bug up their ass, they would want to come in and tamper with things and mess with things. So I try to get things that are packaged individually or packaged in smaller packaging. And I'm going to do an updated video on that as well because I can get slack in leaving stuff that I should purchase in smaller quantities. Um, and that's what I want to show you guys also with your healthcare items, to purchase them in the smaller quantities, like the mask that I did from the Dollar Tree. It came in a small jar. So I suggest, like, if you use stuff like that, use it that day. If you're going to be home, use it and as much as you can. And if you can't use the rest. It's a small amount. You can toss it. That way you don't have to come back to it. You know, you can be safe when using items and things like that that won't be tampered by someone coming in. And I'm just like, I don't even understand that mindset of people who would want to come in and mess with someone's belongings like that. I mean, that's the lowest of the low. But anyway, don't let me get sidetracked. Yeah, so buy your items in smaller packages, single packages, so that you can use those particular items in a one use hit, whatever you choose to use. You know, but we can't stop living. I'm not saying pack everything you have and just take it out the house, sit in the house with. No, no, absolutely not. Oh, the clay mask is nice. Yes, you should get it. And the one at the Dollar Tree is not too bad. It is not too bad. Let me tell you, I had one and I bought another one. And I had put it on my face and I thought about the exact same thing I had told you all, just a few minutes ago, to use the smaller bottles. But I had opened both of them and I was like, okay, let me just use. I started putting it on my legs and half my body. And then my boss called me because he needed me to do something, and I needed my computer. I need to go to work to do it, and it was so funny because I was standing there with half clay halfway down my body. I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm on my way," but I just wanted to use that the product up before I left. When I was thinking when I was talking to him, I'm like, sometimes I'm like, I know y'all probably looking at me sitting here knowing that I got this clay all the way around my face and down my body. Y'all just messing with me, calling me, but y'all broadcasting this to whoever bought a ticket to the show. Oh, that's what it feels like. These people buy tickets to the show to see us being broadcast. But yeah, guys. So I just wanted to talk to you guys tonight about jealousy. People around you in your life, your loved ones, your boyfriends, husbands, girlfriends, and all of that can be jealous of you. And most of you guys know that STIs, chosen ones, but I didn't because it was before I realized I was being targeted and going through anything. And I don't even know if it started then, but like I said, we don't even know if it started, our targeting started when we were babies, infants. I don't know, but it seems like it because when I look back over my life, it just seems like things were amiss. Jealousy, we all know that. Gifts and sight. One thing I know is that I do have the gift of sight, but I don't want to come on here until I am uh, confirmed, to other people have, you know, confirmed me to say anything. I would never get on here like I see some people on these YouTube streets prophesying and saying I got a gift, I got a word from the Lord. No, you won't hear me saying that. But I do know that I've seen visions that have come true and dreams that have actually come to pass. So that's why I've been talking about gifts so much, and then teaching. When I speak, I've grown up in the church. Um, so that's what I know, and that's what I've been brought back to. So if I'm speaking on something and the word comes out, then the word is going to come out. That's not saying that I'm sitting here giving you precepts upon precepts and, um, you know, taking you through a whole Bible course. So, for those people who can't get over that fact, I don't know what to say to you. I take it up with the Most High God and pray on that and it is going to be what it is. And that's what I had to come on tonight, and it was on my mind to speak to you guys about. And I will be doing a short, um, I don't know what to even call it. I said lesson, but with so many men, and I'm saying men because it seems as if men don't want women to express themselves according to what the Bible says, but they're only bringing out certain scriptures in the Bible, and there's many prophetess that are in the Bible. There are women judges, and there was, so many women have aided in the growth of the nation that are not being, you know, taught about. And that is where I think people are under the misconception that women have no place, or God is not moving through these women. And that's just not so. God speaks through women all the time. Um, Samson, uh, his father wouldn't even known Samson was going to be born, that Samson was going to even be blessed with the gifts that the Most High was going to give Samson, um, that not to cut his hair, that his strength was in his hair, not to drink wine, not to do all of this, because unless the wife told the husband, and the wife knew because the angel spoke to the wife first, and the angel only came to the wife and told the wife about the gift that the Most High God was going to give her as a baby boy named Samson, with gifts that the Most High was going to bless the baby boy with. And so the wife had to tell the husband, and when the angel appeared to the wife again, she went and got the husband so her husband can hear what the angel was telling the wife. These stories are not being said amongst Israel. That angels appear to women and they speak to women and tell them what is to come. Did we forget that the angel appeared to Mary and told Mary that Jesus was going to be coming to her, that she was going to be blessed with a son? So it's odd to me that people get so upset when they forget that the Most High said in the end times that He was going to pour out His word, His to men and women. So it's just odd to me. It's like they want to cover the whole word of the Most High when the Most High speaks to women and men. So, yes, indeed, guys. Thank you. All right. All right, guys. So I'm going to be out, and I will probably post that lesson about the prophetess that are in the Bible, um, that the men of the Most High have not been speaking about. I'm going to speak about them and let you guys know. I hope you guys check out that video when I drop it. And much, much love.